The traditional beliefs and practices of African people include various traditional religions. Generally, these traditions are oral rather than scriptural, include belief in a supreme creator, belief in spirits, veneration of ancestors, use of magic, and traditional medicine. The role of humanity is generally seen as one of harmonizing nature with the supernatural, while adherence to traditional religion in Africa is hard to estimate due to syncretism with Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Practitioners are estimated to number over 100 million, or at least 10% of the population of the continent. African diasporic religions are also practiced in the Americas, such as Candomblé, Santeria, and Haitian Vodou. Statistics. Practitioners of traditional religions in sub-Saharan Africa are distributed among 43 countries, and were estimated to number over 100 million. Although the largest religions in Africa are Christianity and Islam, ceremonies, West and Central African religious practices generally manifest themselves in communal ceremonies and/or divinatory rites in which members of the community, overcome by force, are excited to the point of going into meditative trance in response to rhythmic mantric drumming and/or singing. One religious ceremony practiced in Gabon and Cameroon is the Kikuyu, practiced by several Bantu ethnic groups. In this state, depending upon the region, drumming or instrumental rhythms played by respected musicians, participants embody a deity or ancestor, energy and/or state of mind by performing distinct ritual movements or dances which further enhance their elevated consciousness. When this trance-like state is witnessed and understood, practitioners are privy to a way of contemplating the pure symbolic embodiment of a particular mindset, a frame of reference. This builds skills at separating the feelings elicited by this mindset from the situational manifestations in daily life. Such separation and subsequent contemplation of the nature and sources of pure energy or feelings serves to help participants manage and accept them when they arise in mundane contexts. This facilitates better control and transformation of these energies into positive, culturally appropriate behavior, thought, and speech. Further, this practice can also give rise to those in these trances uttering words which, when interpreted by culturally educated, initiated diviner, can provide insight into appropriate directions which the community might take in accomplishing its goal. Spirits. Followers of traditional African religions pray to various spirits as well as to their ancestors. These secondary spirits serve as intermediaries between humans and the primary god. Most African societies believe in a single supreme creator god. Some recognize a dual god and goddess such as Mwulisa. Practices and rituals. There are more similarities than differences in all traditional African religions. Often, the supreme god is worshipped through consultation or communion with lesser deities and ancestral spirits. The deities and spirits are honored through libation, sacrifice. The will of God is sought by the believer also through consultation of oracular deities, or divination. In many traditional African religions, there is a belief in a cyclical nature of reality. The living stand between their ancestors and the unborn. Traditional African religions embrace natural phenomena, ebb and tide, waxing and waning moon, rain and drought, and the rhythmic pattern of agriculture. According to Gottlieb and MBITI, the environment and nature are infused in every aspect of traditional African religions and culture. This is largely because cosmology and beliefs are intricately intertwined with the natural phenomena and environment. All aspects of weather, thunder, lightning, rain, day, moon, sun, stars, and so on may become amenable to control through the cosmology of African people. people. Natural phenomena are responsible for providing people with the daily needs. For example, in the Sira religion, one of the most sacred stars in the cosmos is called The. With a long farming tradition, the Sira high priests and priestesses deliver yearly sermons at the XOY ceremony in Fatig before New Year's face in order to predict winter months and enable farmers to start planting. Divination. Since Africa is a large continent with many ethnic groups and cultures, there is not one single technique of casting divination. The practice of casting may be done with small objects, such as bones, cowrie shells, stones, strips of leather, or flat pieces of wood. Some castings are done using sacred divination plates made of wood or performed on the ground. In traditional African societies, many people seek out diviners on a regular basis. There are generally no prohibitions against the practice. Those who divine for a living are also sought for the wisdom as counselors in life and for the knowledge of herbal medicine. Virtue and vice. Virtue in traditional African religion is often connected with carrying out obligations of the communal aspect of life. Examples include social behavior such as the respect for parents and elders, raising children appropriately, providing hospitality, and being honest, trustworthy, and courageous. In some traditional African religions, morality is associated with obedience or disobedience to God regarding the way a person or a community lives. For the Kikuyu, according to the primary supreme creator, Guy, acting through the lesser deities, is believed to speak to and be capable of guiding the virtuous person as one's conscience. Traditionally, as now, the Kikuyu were monotheists believing in a unique and omnipotent God whom they called Guy. The word is related to the Maasai word Enkai, and was borrowed by both the Kikuyu and Kamba. God is also known as Mungu, Murungu, or Mulungu, and is sometimes given the title Mwathani Mwathi, which comes from the word Gwada, meaning to rule or reign with authority. Guy is the creator and giver of all things, the divider of the universe and lord of nature. He gave birth to the human community, created the first Kikuyu communities, and provided them with all the resources necessary for life: land, rain, plants and animals. He, the Guy, is male, cannot be seen, but is manifest in the sun, moon, stars, comets and meteors, thunder and lightning, rain, in rainbows and in the great fig trees that served as places of worship and sacrifice, and which marked the spot at Mukuru Wagad Amawega Kikuyu and Mumbi, the ancestors of the Kikuyu in the oral legend, first settled. Yet Guy is not the distant god that we know in the West. He had human characteristics, and although some say that he lives in the sky or in the clouds, they also say that he comes to earth from time to inspect it, bestow blessings and mete out punishment. When he comes, he rests on Mount Kenya and 4 other sacred mountains. Thunder is interpreted to be the movement of God, and lightning is God's weapon by means of which he clears the way when moving from one sacred place to another. Other people believed that Guy's abode was on Mount Kenya, or else beyond its peaks. Guy, says one legend, made the mountain his resting place while on an inspection tour of Earth. He then took the first man, Kikuyu, to the top to point out the beauty of the land he was giving him. In traditional African religions, such as the Asande religion, a person is said to have a good or bad conscience, depending on whether he does the bidding of God and malevolent spirits. In many cases, Africans who have converted to other religions have still kept up the traditional customs and practices, combining them in a syncretic way. Sacred places. Some sacred or holy locations for traditional religions include Anai Igbo at the point of Sangoma, Ife Oyo, Dahomey, Benin City, Ada, Nsukka, Kanambornu, and Igbo UKWU among others. Religious persecution. Traditions by region. This list is limited to a few well-known traditions. North Africa. Ancient Egyptian religion. traditional Berber religion, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Chad, Burkina Faso. Hausa animism, Horn of Africa, Cushitic mythology, Central Africa, Bantu mythology, Bushonga mythology, Lugbara mythology, Baluba mythology, Mbuti mythology, Dinka religion, Hausa animism, Lotuko mythology, East African Bantu mythology, Akamba mythology, Maasai mythology, Kalenjin religion, Southern Africa Bantu mythology, Lozi mythology, Tumbuka mythology, Zulu mythology, San religion, traditional healers of South Africa, West Africa Akan religion, Dahomian religion, Efik mythology, Edo religion, Hausa animism, Odanani, Sera religion, Yoruba religion, West African Vodun, African diaspora.